I was diagnosed with breast cancer 19 years ago. It's been a while. I had 2 children at that time. My son was 2 and my daughter was 5. The first thought was that my children are never going to remember their mom because they're so young. Because, of course, when I heard I had breast cancer, I automatically thought I was going to die. And I decided I had to do something right then to be sure that my children remembered they had a mom and that they remembered all the wonderful things that had happened in their lives. So I started journaling because I want them to know what was going on when they started walking and all of those kinds of things. But it really turned out that that was the biggest blessing for me, because just by reflecting on what happened during the day and being able to look back on the progress that I was making, the days that I was teary, and then seeing that I had many more days that were joyous and happy, it just really made that whole journaling thing therapy for me. When I was 18 years old, I first found a lump in my breast. So I've always lived with that notion of something being kind of maybe wrong with my breast, but I was comfortable with it because it was so long ago, and twice it had happened. I had surgery when I was 18 and when I was 19 to remove benign tumors, and they always said I just happen to be one of those women that get tumors, but no big deal. When I felt another lump in my breast, and I was in my 30s, and I went to the doctor, and they said, oh, another one of those tumors, and they knew my history, that I had had those when I was a teenager. And the doctor said, from the way this feels, it's probably just another one of those benign tumors, but come back in and let us, test the tissue, and do the needle drain. And they drained some of it and tested it, and then they called me at my house and said, we got the results back. And it was the doctor, and he said, can you come in? At that moment when they said, can you come in, I knew this was not just another one of those little benign tumors, because they don't say come in unless there's something wrong, because they didn't just say come in, and they said, and be sure to bring your husband. I didn't really have any say-so in the matter. They just said, you will have a mastectomy. So that was it. Actually, I did ask them to remove both. Because I was so freaking out over it. It was like, okay, is there any chance that the other one might have it? And they said, no chance. Your other one looks just fine. And I said, but I want to just take both of them off anyway, and he wouldn't do it. After spending about a week in a hospital, you just don't want to go back. And my doctor asked me then if I wanted to start the whole process of doing reconstruction surgery, and I said, no, thank you. Just let me go home. I've had probably every kind that's ever been invented. I've had lots of them over the years. And as I've gotten, as I got older and my one good breast changed, I had to get a new one to match the other one. And I had special ones for swimming, and I had quite a collection. Yeah. I got more and more frustrated. Like, I would have occasions that I'd have to go to formal events, and I found myself spending hours trying to find the right dress or the right blouse or whatever that I would feel comfortable, because there was always that self-consciousness about somebody being able to see that I have on a prosthesis. And then my daughter graduated from college, and that was really the big deal. It's like, hey, you can start doing things for yourself now, and because I knew that going through the surgery was going to be a process of staying off work and maybe, not being able to have the same routine. And my children were grown up, and I thought, well, maybe it's time for me. Even though I had all that pain, it was worth it. It was so worth it. Now, you asked me earlier about advice to other women. I would say don't wait 17 years. Definitely don't wait 17 years. You just don't know what you're missing.